Hey everyone, it is me, Fashion Coder, and today I'm going to be doing a review on what Pulsebitcoin is. And if you haven't ever seen one of my project reviews before, basically what I do is I read the white paper so you don't have to, but also within the same breath, do your own research. This is not financial advice. I just give you my take on it and what I learned from when I did it. Okay, so we are on the pulsebitcoin.com page. A couple of really cool things just for you to know is you can go into their dApp and be able to do the things like mining within it. Also, if we go to the very bottom, you can go to their GitHub and you can see their code. If you know me, you know that I love a good GitHub and they have a great one. So there's that. Okay, so if we scroll over, no, it's not going to show me it that way. We're going to click on the white paper. Okay, there's 26 pages of this, and did I read all of it? Yes, I did. So let's go through it together. So basically what this white paper is doing is it goes through and talks about what Bitcoin is and compares Bitcoin with Pulsebitcoin. All right. So right here it goes into what the problem is and how Bitcoin basically is not environmentally sustainable, how there are specific things within Bitcoin, like it doesn't allow for peer-to-peer transactions. Like you have to have a middleman if you want to go in and trade it over to a stable coin, and there's just all these things within mining. And then it goes into how Pulsebitcoin is better than that. So it offers cheaper transactions, faster transactions, inclusive mining. There is a scarce supply, native compatibility with existing DeFi, more security, high scalability, and most importantly is environmentally sustainable and energy efficient. So there is that part of things. Okay, so that basically is what is about to be talked about throughout the whole entire white paper, but it gives more detail within that. Okay, so if we go to the next one, so it talks about how Bitcoin currently has it can take 10 minutes to complete, but Pulsebitcoin is on Ethereum right now, and then it will be natively on Pulse Chain once Pulse Chain launches. And so Ethereum has about 12-second blocks, and then Pulse Chain will have about 3-second blocks, so that's awesome. And then supply, exactly the same, so 21 million for both of them. It comes in and it talks about halving and the halving comparison. I have not spent enough time to go into this and understand it. So if you're interested, they have this page on it, and then they also have a couple of other calculation comparisons right here and some more right here. They're very thorough when it comes to that. And then it goes into the mining comparison. So with Bitcoin currently, and honestly, it will probably always be like this, but it is proof of work, and you have to have hardware to go in and actually mine it. Whereas with Pulsebitcoin, it is all through the software, so you don't have to actually have any hardware at all to be able to go in and do this, which is actually really nice because it's more inclusive that anyone in the world could go and do it. And so there is that. And they have a couple of different rules, if you want to call them, that 30-day intervals with locking and being able to mine and all that stuff. Okay, something that's kind of interesting, touched on it earlier. So Bitcoin, if you want to trade it into a stable coin, or if you want yield on it, or if you want to swap it for literally anything else, you always have to go through a middleman, which is not decentralized finance. So there is that downfall on it, and so I'm going to read it. Bitcoin lives on its own network, meaning it is siloed from existing trustless DeFi infrastructure that operates wonderfully well on Ethereum and other EVM networks. EVM is Ethereum Virtual Machine. So you have to use the middleman. And you know what? No judgment, because Bitcoin was the first crypto. So how could they know that it was going to be like this? They didn't. Okay, and then complex smart contracts. So Bitcoin is limited and it is restricted, but with Pulsebitcoin, if we go to the next page, there's no middleman required because you're able to go in and do that peer-to-peer trustless trading. And then the stablecoins, yield farming, NFTs, and more, you're able to use Pulse Bitcoin to go in and swap for any of the stablecoins, to go swap for other coins, to be able to earn yield on it. And then also NFTs. There's stuff going on with NFTs with it. Let's see, there is a security overview, and that's actually, I found this interesting, so I'm going to read it. Crypto holders, including many well-known crypto influencers, have no idea that Bitcoin has a long history of security vulnerabilities, especially inflation bugs. Inflation bugs occur when someone on the network can mint free coins outside of the defined parameters. Many think that the only way Bitcoin is vulnerable to exploits is through 51% attacks. This is false. So, if you know, I have a background in software, and I thought this was interesting because this isn't something that's really talked about, is that it does have bugs within this, and so that's a problem. Pulse Bitcoin offers superior security through modularity, spec, and code audits. And get this, I didn't know this until this white paper. Bitcoin hasn't gone through code audits, and I think it goes into that later on in this paper. Anyways, I was like, wow, that's slightly crazy. So, oh yeah, code audit. Bitcoin has had 0 code audits while Pulse Bitcoin code has been audited. Like what? Like why isn't that being talked about, everyone? Okay. And so this just goes more into the inflation bugs, like what that is. And we're going to keep going. The scalability. Pulse Bitcoin has a lot more scalability than what Bitcoin has. If you're more interested in learning about that, you can come in and read it here because there's a lot going on with that. And then just adoption. So one of the most limiting aspects of Bitcoin is that it is siloed from nearly every other cryptocurrency market and ecosystem. And there was one part that I wanted to read about this. So it's going to be, it is on Ethereum, and it's going to be on Pulse Chain, so you'll be able to get your tokens airdropped to you, which is awesome, but there's just going to be more adoption because it's not siloed, basically. Long story short. And then there is that environment impact where Pulse Bitcoin is using the proof of stake from the Ethereum network and then eventually the Pulse Chain network, whereas proof of work consensus mechanism is being used for just normal Bitcoin. And then I'm going to read all this. Okay, so Pulse Bitcoin mining is completely separated from network block reward mining. Pulse Bitcoin mining only requires you to lock up ASIC tokens for 30-day intervals. This mechanism just requires time, which honestly is the most valuable human resource we have. And the best part is it doesn't cause pollution. To clarify, Pulse Bitcoin lives on a cleaner network and rewards users for mining their valuable time through a non-polluting reward system. And this is what is referred to as a win-win. So to summarize, Pulse Bitcoin is designed to replace Bitcoin completely by being better in every way that actually matters. Boom. Okay. And then if you're interested in the ASIC token and everything like that, you can come in and read more in depth of what it is and their process. It goes into great detail because there's, I think, 2 different ways that you can go about this, a couple of examples that you can see throughout the website as well. And then you can also transform Pulse Dogecoin into this as well. So that's an interesting thing. And then I do want to read this. There's a single rule that must be followed when mining Pulse Bitcoin. If a user fails to end their mining operation during the 30 days and mining period, they will forfeit their Pulse Bitcoin reward and lose half of their ASIC tokens used for the specific mining operation. So it all goes back to that good accounting and just like keeping it clean and such. And then this is the whole mining process, which I'm not going to get into that much, but you can come in and read it. It's easy. It has an interesting flow too. Okay, last thing. So Pulse Bitcoin must be mined into existence. Each mining operation takes 30 days to complete, meaning for the first 30 days post-launch, there's no supply of Pulse B in circulation. The rate of growth is dependent on the amount of ASIC tokens used to mine Pulse Bitcoin until the hard-coded threshold of 21 million Pulse Bitcoin is reached. Pulse Bitcoin is designed to be a superior digital gold, store of value, peer-to-peer currency, unstoppable money, etc. This is Bitcoin's version 2.0, a better Bitcoin for a better future. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. But thanks so much for watching, and I'm glad that I finally got to get this video out because it has been a popular demand in the last, honestly, several months. So I'm glad that I was able to finally come in and do it, and I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great day. Bye.